is yielding. And those two options are rarely good. It's rarely good to lay down your arms and surrender to tyranny, and it's rarely good to take up arms and go to war. If you have to do door number one, it represents a failure of your philosophy. And Lao Tzu, the famous Daoist sage who wrote the most well-known Taoist book in the Western world, the Tao Te Ching, the book of the way and its power, that author says that, when we go to war to win, but recognize that the fact that you're going to war represents a failure of your philosophy. So mourn, right? Mourn. Whether you win or lose, mourn that you had to go to war. Civil disobedience in the context of Monk Manifesto is a reminder to be aware of those forces that we've been talking about that are acting upon you. And when you see that they are wrong, with a capital R, when you see that they are wrong, when you know that you're being maneuvered or manipulated or forced to do something that is not right, that you resist.
Okay.
Gabriella?
Yeah, sorry, I was actually just taking that in to manipulate and the forces to be aware. I was just thinking about that actually in my own life. Thank you for saying that. I have a question because this is a part in your book that I haven't read yet, but that I'm really, really interested in. You say, why do you think American people are so angry? You use the word mad. I'm very interested in that because I agree, but I'd love your version.
So years ago, I went to see my primary master, and he asked me, this is some decades ago, and he asked me, how you doing? You look a little down. And I said, yeah, I'm depressed. He said, really, you're depressed? You mean you're sad? I said, sad is a shorter term condition. Depression means a little bit more serious, a little bit more pervasive. And he said, oh, are you taking any medicine for that? And I said, no, but I've thought about it. And he said, well, before you take medicine, just recognize that being depressed means that you don't understand who you are, what you're doing here in this world, and how the world works. And if you solve those misunderstandings, you will no longer be depressed. And so when you ask me about anger, I think of this in a similar way. American people are very angry because they have been sold a bill of goods about a wide range of things to expect from life and to emphasize in life, ranging from entitlement to America being the greatest country in the world, to the expectation that we are unique and exceptional and all that stuff, and that they deserve to live the life that they see on TV when they watch celebrity shows. So there's this distance between the life that people in this country live and the life that they are being told they should be living. And that distance, that cognitive dissonance, is the source both of frustration and depression, but also of anger.
Oh, I think that's very well put because it's obvious that it's widening.
Yeah, I like that too. It's because we see what we can't have and we think that we should have it too, right? That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Not only that, but that we want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a quote, my own quote, that says, nobody strikes another human being coming from a positive place. Nobody. And then I usually say to
very rarely. Anyway,
yeah. So if we have 7 billion people on this planet, 6.9 billion people are in a unhappy state, whether it's anger or depression or any of those things, correct?
That's right. Violence is the lowest common denominator of human existence, that's for sure, of human interchange. But, also to your point about the people on the planet being angry or unhappy, we don't have to, it is our job, we don't have to accept these models of life. We don't have to accept these values and ambitions and worldviews that are being foisted upon us again by forces that are not interested in our well-being, but rather are interested in their own power and control. And so Monk Manifesto is really about trying to help us wake up to these forces and wake up to ways and means by which we can be free of them.
Wow, that is awesome. Is your book available on Amazon, by the way?
Yes, thank you for asking. It's available on Amazon. It's available in other places online. It's available at bookstores anywhere. If they don't have it in stock, they can order it quickly. It's well distributed, and it's also available on through my website.
Okay.
You know, I want to touch on another thing that I know that you go into in regards that you deal with. Both, I think I've heard it in one of your speeches, but I think also in dealing with the book, and that is your unhappiness with technology and where you believe it has taken us. If you could make the decision, and you were in that role, that you could choose what technology is allowed and how much it's allowed to play in our lives, what would you do? How would you make the changes necessary to take us away from the direction it has now taken us?
Technology is like a gun or a blade. You can use the gun to save your own life, shoot the cobra that's about to bite you in the face, and then bury it respectfully. Or you can use the gun to go out and terrorize other people. You can use the blade to save the lives of your family and yourself, or you can use the blade to dominate and control and terrorize. And so technology is another tool. My objections to technology have to do with the fact that we are subject to this effects of this enormously powerful tool and its stunningly addictive qualities. We have become dependent upon it. We don't recognize its ubiquity in our lives or understand the full consequences of that ubiquity. Of course, the smartphone in hand is the most nefarious of these things. But, I mentioned a simple remedy for this earlier, which is to disengage from social media, to spend minimal time on the computer other than what you are doing for gainful employ, and to embrace quiet time in Taoist practices such as Tai Chi and Qigong, to engage time for meditation, and to read books, because, of course, earlier I mentioned thinking deeply about things, and books are no more or less an opportunity taken by somebody, an author, to think deeply about something and share those thoughts with you.
I just looked at the time. This is the fastest that any time has ever gone by on a show. I appreciate your time so much. But, we're going to have to wrap this up. But first of all, I would love to have you back. I feel there's so much more that we could go into. Obviously, Gabriella, every week we'd love to have you on. So for everybody out there, I just, the best thing I can tell you is get the book. Again, it is called the Mad Monk Manifesto. It's a prescription for evolution, revolution, and global awakening. If there's one book that you go out and get this, and take in the information, do with it as you wish, but without having it, you don't know what you don't have. So take it in, see what you think, and hopefully we can have Monk Yun back on the show again, and you'll have more questions because more of you will have bought the book, and you'll now have even more questions on how you can take it further. Yun, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for honoring me with the invitation.
All right. And Gabriella, as usual, it is always wonderful to have you. And again, for everybody out there, if you get the chance, you can go to her website. Can you give that, Gabriella, real quick?
It is daretobekindmovement.global or daretobekindmovement.com. And Yun Rou, you really have to come back so that I can ask you much more questions. Many more.
All right. And for everybody out there, just be with us again next week, and be good human beings, and go out and do an act of kindness and tell us about it next week on Answers for the Family.
Absolutely.
You're listening to Answers for the Family with Allen-Cardoza, right here on LA Talk Radio.